Four-time NFL champions, 17 playoff appearances, 19 players in the Hall of Fame. Do you know what team I'm talking about? If you guessed the Detroit Lions, then you'd be correct. If you guessed any other team or didn't know, then the speech is specifically for you. Today I'm here to talk about and inform you about the history of the Detroit Lions. The majority of this class, I can safely assume, is from the metropolitan area, Detroit area, and we all go to school in Detroit. So you probably know that the Detroit Lions is our local professional football team. Having done extensive research on the Lions organization, I'm prepared to inform you and talk to you today about the Detroit Lions. I believe the professional sports team of our state is part of our history, and just like any kind of heritage or culture, I believe as Michiganders it's important to know our history, Lions history. First, I'm going to talk about the early history of the Detroit Lions and their humble Ohio beginnings. Second, I will talk about the success the Lions had in the pre-Super Bowl era. And finally, I'll talk about the current stats, facts, and news regarding the Detroit Lions. Let's talk a little Lions history. Lions 101 starts in 1930. The Detroit Lions weren't always the Detroit Lions as we know of them today. They began as the Portsmouth Spartans in Portsmouth, Ohio, which is due south of Columbus. They were the second smallest town ever to host an NFL team, with a population in 1930 of roughly 45,000 people, according to the U.S. Census. The Portsmouth Spartans, like many other business ventures, fell victim to the Great Depression, according to an article written by the Portsmouth Historical Society titled Motor City Memories. George A. Richards, the owner of WJR at the time, bought the Spartans and moved them to Detroit. He paid $8,000 for them, and the Forbes list currently values the Detroit Lions in a survey titled Detroit Lions Net Worth at $817 million. If Mr. Richards still owned the team, he would have made his money 102,125 times over. This was the fourth attempt to bring a team to Detroit, a professional football team to Detroit. So with the move, Mr. Richards changed the name of the Spartans to the Lions in an attempt he wanted the team to become king of football, just like the Lions are the king of the jungle. The Lions enjoyed a lot of success once they in the pre-Super Bowl era, which is before the 1970 AFL-NFL merger. They won 4 championships in 1935, 1952, 53, and 57. This makes them the 9th most winningest team in championships overall in the entire NFL. Not too shabby if you hear compared to what people say about the Lions now. In an article written by Tim Twentyman titled Detroit Lions Gridiron Greats, Bobby Lane is credited with winning 3 championships in 52, 53, and 57. Consequently, ironically, that 57 championship was the last championship Detroit has ever won, or even played in. Greg Garber of ESPN attempts to explain this in an article titled Curse of Bobby Lane. Bobby Lane, after winning the 57 championship, was traded away in bad faith over financial reasons, and was quoted saying Detroit will not win another championship for 50 years. Whether you're a superstitious person or not, the 50th year of Bobby Lane's curse was in 2008. The Lions finished 0-16 that season, the only team currently ever to have completed such a feat. We've talked about some of the Lions' more humble beginnings. I'd like to switch gears and talk about the modern Lions and some current news about the Detroit Lions. In an article titled Detroit Stadiums by Scott Silix, Detroit has played in 4 stadiums: University of Detroit Stadium, Tiger Stadium, the Silverdome, and Ford Field. If anyone ever went to a game, played a game at the Silverdome, they know that place is kind of a pig pen. And voters agreed. In 2002, a proposal was passed to build a new stadium and to bring the Detroit Lions back to Detroit. In the proposal, 51% of the stadium was to be paid for by the public and 49% paid for by the franchise. After $500 million, the 65,000 seat holding Ford Field was built. The Lions have been in the headlines a lot lately, with most recently in an article titled "Owner Martha Ford Addresses Lions Over a Firing of President and GM," written by Michael Rothstein of ESPN. Midway through the past season, after their 1-7 start, Martha Ford fired both the president and the GM of the Lions. While Martha Ford didn't play a single down in any of those football games, the Lions finished the second half of the season 6-2, and she can be credited in helping accomplish that. She's quoted with saying she would like to build a winning tradition, which I think all of us would like to see. At Ford Field, tickets generally start for a Lions football game at about $45. But not only do you get to watch some great Lions football, according to an article written by MLive titled 9 New Menu Items at Ford Field, you can now enjoy some gourmet menu items such as a Southwest chicken wrap, buffalo chicken fries, chili verde fries, oversized beef pasty, and many more things. So while I may or may not be enjoying one of these new genuine menu items, if you see me at a Lions game, feel free to come say hi. To conclude, if you don't remember anything about this speech, just remember that the Lions began as the Portsmouth Spartans in 1930. They were renamed and moved to Detroit for the 1934 season. They've won 4 world championships. They have 19 players in the Hall of Fame, and lots of change is expected. Go Lions.